Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Ashley Van Dyke with Advantage Software, and on today's video, Defining Dictionary Entries to Use Plugins, I'm going to show you how you can make sure that you're always using the most up-to-date command and you haven't accidentally used a keyboard macro instead. With keyboard macros, in order to associate them with a dictionary entry, there were always a few ways that you could do this. However, the most common way would be to go to your user settings, to the Edit tab, to Macros, select a macro that you want, hit Edit, and then Dictionary Entry. And here you would select the steno that you wanted to use for each command, and it would enter it into your main dictionary like this. However, in newer versions of Eclipse, many of these macros have been replaced with plugin commands instead. And those are the commands that you should be using rather than the old keyboard macros. They tend to be more functional and more reliable, and they offer more expanded capabilities. However, if you want to associate a dictionary entry with one of those commands, you can't do it from the macros list. You'll note that many macros that used to exist in the macro list by default won't exist in new user settings. However, that doesn't mean you can't still use all of the same commands you've always used. So if there's a steno stroke or a voice code that you'd like to associate with a macro, there are a couple ways you can do that. First, from anywhere in Eclipse, press Ctrl D as in dog. You can select the steno that you want to use, and I'm going to make this global window bigger so that we can focus on it. So in the global window, there's a Special Entries drop-down box. This Special Entries box gives you shortcuts on using different syntax in your globals. However, one of the entries that's here is Execute Macro. So I'm going to choose Execute Macro, and now another window has come up with a list of all of the macros I can execute from my steno machine. And this will include every single macro on your system, including all of the Python plugins. And so if you're looking for some of the existing macros that you know used to be found under the Edit tab, they're going to be listed here instead. And so any of these entries you can associate with a dictionary entry just like you used to be able to. So if there's a command that you're not able to find in the Edit tab to associate with a dictionary entry, you can find it by selecting Special Entries and then Execute Macro instead. And just select the macro that you want to use, and Eclipse puts the correct syntax in the box for you. And so again, I can clear this out, choose Execute Macro. I'll choose one of my real-time macros, and my syntax is automatically filled out. I can make sure it's going into my main dictionary, which is where most macros should go, and I can just press OK to save that. I can also open my dictionary. And if I have an existing stroke that I'd like to update to use a plugin command, I can double click on it, click Text, and I can access Special Entries, and then Execute Macro here, and associate that existing stroke with a new command. You can also use this function when you're globaling. If I global a word, again, the Special Entries drop-down box is available, and I can choose Execute Macro, and scroll down, and just find the macro I'd like to associate with this dictionary entry command. And when you do it this way, it's always going to use the appropriate plugin command automatically instead of reverting to an old keyboard macro that might not work as well. And so again, if you go to your user settings, Edit, Macros, and you don't see some of the same macro commands that you're used to seeing in this list, it's probably simply because they're now plugin commands instead. And if you use the Special Entries drop-down list along with the Execute Macro command, you'll be able to add those just as easily as you always have. Don't forget that Advantage Software offers anytime support. Tech support is available anytime, including weekends and holidays, at 772-288-3266. Email support is also available at support@eclipsecat.com. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so that you'll be notified when we publish new content in the future. Thank you so much and have a great day.